Hey there, Melody Campbell, the small business guru. What's a guru? Guru is just a guide. I am your guide to get more business. So what qualifies me to get on here on this channel and do a live stream? I've been trying to do them daily, but I get busy. I'll get better at it, I promise. What qualifies me? Well, in the last few years, it's been a journey. I've been in digital marketing space since 2001, so 24 years. And I've focused on social media, I focused on SEO, I focused on website building, and I've kind of been exposed to a lot of the elements of digital marketing and can talk with authority on them. My most recent accomplishments is that in the last 5 years, and this is a build-up progress. So we started working together 5 years ago with an individual who owned a business, and she was able to retire her husband as a stay-at-home dad because she was bringing in enough money with her business that I got on the first page of Google for now nearly 500 keywords that have commercial intent. So people will come and hire her and to do her beautiful, esthetician work, and she makes money at it. Another client in the services industry, also, he bought a house in the last, in 2025. And I was a part of that in that I helped him get on the first page of Google. We've been working on I built his website, first of all. Then we've been doing SEO. We've been doing the SEO for less than a year, but the traffic that started coming to him early on put him in a good place to where everything else that he's doing helped him to get into his house. So that's the kind of success stories I like to hear. The testimonial on the homepage of my website, one of my clients he does roof cleaning, and he says that the SEO work that I did is worth about $400,000 a year. Now, that was, we recorded the video in 2023. Was it 2023 or was it 2022? I can't remember. So that's a historical number. So it could be much more at this point. But what qualifies me? I have clients that I have transformed their business and their lives with the services that I have provided. And that's why I thought, well, you know what? A lot of things are changing. AI is coming in. Just the way our country is interacting. Everything's changing. Okay. So that, I'm going to create a course and put some power in the hands of the small business owners that either A, want to do some things for themselves, or B, they want to have a better understanding of their marketing campaigns when they hire somebody to execute. So you might hire somebody like me to build a website or do your social media or do your SEO, but most of the business owners that I work with don't know anything about what I'm doing. They trust me because they know maybe they might have come to me as a referral from another client. They've seen the work that I've done for other people and they trust me. But most people hire somebody and just assume that they're an expert. Like they don't know. So that's what I am in the process right now of building a course called Local Visibility. Let me say that slower. Local Visibility Blueprint. And I'm going to cover many things, website, search engine optimization, and AI. I'm even going to include social media, which is what we're going to talk about today. The role of social media in local visibility and marketing in 2025, and what small business owners need to know about before it's too late. Like, I mentioned this, I think, in the last live stream, that back in the day, so this was probably 80s and 90s, there was a lot of infomercials on regular TV. I say regular TV. So it wasn't streaming, it was cable, it was the local networks, etc. So it was typically, after prime time. So it was 10, 11, 12, midnight, 2 in the morning. There was these infomercials that would run. And it was just like a big, an hour long. And I think maybe sometimes they ran more than 1 hour. They would just talk about their product. They would talk about, their origin story, how they came up with the product idea. They talked with customers, real customers, to see how did this change your life when you started using our makeup or our real estate buying program or whatever. And it's the equivalent in today's technology would be going live for an hour and selling your product, which is one of the components I'm going to talk about today. Live social selling is a thing, and it's going to get bigger. And I want you as a small business owner to get on the train before it's left the station, because you're going to want to pay attention to this. So I'm going to quickly go through some things that we're going to talk about. First of all, I started at where my activity really got ramped up when I was doing digital marketing, a little bit with website development, but I really got into social media. Like I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to change the world. Like I understood what I just explained to you, that at some point we were going to be able to do the equivalent of informational and educational commercials that would like help us to nurture and cultivate our audience and our following and educate them for why we were the best choice for the product or service that we had to offer. And I was blown away at the power of social media. And at one point, I don't remember the name of the organization or when it was published. I unfortunately didn't say that, there was a certificate that came out, and actually it was just a digital certificate, and it was published on a website. The top 50 most influential women in social media. I was number 37, and I know, I wasn't number 50, but I was on the list because I really, really got into it, and I made it it was a big deal to connect with movers and shakers in all kinds of industry, and I absolutely loved it. In fact, I remember I don't know if it was the day, but maybe the month that Twitter was introduced to the world. And I got on board with that. I was so excited about Twitter. And then I saw how, anyways, I'm not even going to go. I was really excited about it. I'm not as active on it now, but at some point I may do it again. However, I was very excited about social media when I first got started in the industry. But I got burnt out with social media quickly. And I think I didn't understand as much about marketing campaigns and how to really use social media in a marketing campaign. I mean, I did, but I didn't understand then what I understand now. Like what I understand now is much more, I have a bigger framework because I've been doing this for 20 years. So a bigger framework to figure this out and figure out how to get marketing campaigns to help you scale your business and get in front of more people, which this course that I'm in the development process is Local Visibility Blueprint. And I will include context for social media in your marketing campaign. Now, I'm not going to tell you, I have it articulated here. Let me see if I can get it. Is it not there? I must have removed it from my notes. This is not going to be a how-to. I'm not going to tell you the step-by-step I'm not going to tell you how to use Facebook or Instagram or, what's more popular, reels or carousels. I'm not going to tell you any of that. That's not the purpose of today's live stream, nor what is going to be in this course. What I want to talk about is some more fundamental mindsets and perspectives, a framework for how social media could boost your visibility if you prepare for what's available and what's coming in 2025. So we're going to talk about why social media is a critical part of your marketing campaign for high visibility. DIY versus DFY. So do it yourself versus done for you. I'm going to talk a little bit about what business owners need to know. Like, you don't have to do all your own social media. My daughter is a permanent cosmetics artist, J Bella Tattoo in Salem, Oregon, and she loves doing her own social media. Like, she's busy enough that she could and probably should hire a social media um, content person for herself, but she loves doing it. So that's one of the first things she gets to work 2 hours before her first client, and she responds to clients and follows up and all of that, and she creates her several posts for the day, and then posts them throughout the day while she's working. She loves it. But me, on the other hand, I'm an introvert. I'm not shy. I'm not kind of awkward. Well, I hope I'm not. And but I don't get energy from being with people. It depletes me of energy when I'm interacting with people, and I actually like to be alone. I love to be with the right people, but you get it. Like, I am perfectly happy being all alone with me and a book, or me and my phone, or me and streaming. I can keep myself occupied with lots of interesting things because I have lots of interests. Where I do like to be with people, I'm not shy or awkward as far as I know. And I love talking to my clients. But at the end of the day, I'm exhausted from all the interaction. And even with social media interaction, it can be mentally and emotionally taxing and exhausting. Some people, like my daughter, she literally thrives on it. She'll call me and say, listen to the dings in my phone. These are all the people that are commenting on or liking my post. Listen, ding, ding, ding. That would drive me crazy. I would turn the sound off because it would would use up too much energy. So I want to know, put in the comments below, do you love social media or do you hate it? Be nice when you make comments. I mean, if you hate it, use nice words. I have another client who's like, I just don't get the purpose of social media. I don't have time for it. I just want to tell people, here's my website, go book an appointment with me. And she just does not like social media. And she's tried hiring people, but it doesn't really do anything for her, or so she says. So these are the kinds of people that I'm talking to today. People that, and even if you love it, I want to make sure you're thinking about all these components as you're creating your local visibility for your own business. You want to make sure you integrate social media so that it works on your behalf. Okay, we're going to talk about key strategies for social media visibility in 2025, because there's some really important things, and there's some, some of the movers and shakers in the industry, some things that they're talking about. For example, like, I've got a whole little section here on what Gary Vee says on social media, or on social selling. We're going to get to that in a minute. So want to hear from you. Number one, give questions. I don't think I have my chat turned on. Let's get that turned on. I got questions turned on. If you have comments or questions, please post them in the comment section, live or later. So if you're listening to this as in the recording, just go ahead and drop in a question. I'll get a notification on it, and I will either answer you in the chat, or I'll maybe create a whole video on it. Depends on what the question is. So social media is no longer just for fun. It's not just for getting on and chatting with each other like, in the good old days, Facebook was, here's my kids, here's the first day of school, and here's the food I ate. I mean, it still is kind of that, but as a business owner, I want you to shift your perspective. And another concern that used to be, people were concerned about posting too much. Now, people consume information on social media so much that they're voraciously consuming videos. And so you don't have to worry about posting too much. Nobody's going to go, whoa, man, I'm not going to follow that person anymore because he just posts all the time. No. First of all, you do want to post interesting and, information of value, or they're not going to follow you even if you post only once a day, once a week, once a year. If it's not valuable content or at least entertaining, nobody's going to pay attention anyways. So, but the amount of times is not something you need to concern yourself with in terms of posting too much. So it's no longer just for fun. It's a business tool. Social media is now a search engine. Yeah, people go to Instagram to search for maybe facials near me, just like they would on Google. So you need to optimize your Instagram profile. All of your social media profiles should be optimized. People even go to YouTube to shop. What? Yeah, because they want to hear like maybe an unboxing, or they want to hear reviews, or 10 things I wished I knew before I bought a Tesla, or whatever. That is influential. And even live. Oh my gosh. I'm going to get to this more. I'm jumping ahead of myself because I love some of the stuff that's coming. And it's a trust building tool, because the more you get to know somebody, the more you it will help you decide, does what they're talking about resonate with me, and can I trust this person? Is their information even what I'm looking for? And so getting your information for your product or your service or your training course or whatever out into social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, actually Twitter's X now, getting out on all those platforms where people can get to know you. It's really crazy. I will sometimes be in a reel with my daughter. She'll post something on Instagram, and the two of us will be in the video together. So her customers and her followers know who I am. And I kind of have a distinct hairdo or hairstyle with my silver and purple. So locally here in Salem, Oregon, I can walk into a bakery. Like, this is a perfect example. One day I walked into a bakery, and I happen to know the woman who runs the bakery, who owns the bakery actually. And I walked in, she goes, "Oh, hi, Bella's mom is here." Because I not only have my own personal brand, but I'm kind of part of my daughter's brand as well. And people recognize me because of social media. Okay. And that same baker invited me to come in and make a proposal on my SEO services because of my visibility. So as a business owner, this is not about sharing a day in the life of, if you don't want to. If you don't want to share behind the scenes, and it's also doesn't have to be a perfectly produced commercial for your business. You can have just raw videos that you take with your phone. In fact, I will have to post it in the notes below, but there's a person that I follow. I think her name is Jenna. I follow her on Instagram, and she's the most everyday woman. Like, sometimes her hair is kind of a mess, or she's wearing, I remember she even pointed this out. She says, "I'm wearing a jacket. Look at all these stains." She says, "You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up." And she talks about using B-roll with text over the top of it. And again, that's not what I'm going to be talking about today. But the point I'm making with that is your video just needs to authentically present you to your ideal customer. So sometimes when I do this, I'm got my hair up in a messy bun. Sometimes I'm wearing, my workout clothes. Sometimes I'm dressed up. Like today, I was dressed for appointments. I'd go out and see clients. So, I mean, you don't want to be sloppy, but you don't have to be perfectly produced. Just show up. If you want to grow your audience. Now, you can just grow your audience locally, like in my area, Salem and surrounding communities. Or in my case, I would like it if I could get more business all across the United States or all around Oregon, where I'm located at. And these, oh my gosh, social media and video platforms like YouTube gives us reach around the world. That blows my mind. And if you're not using it somewhat in your visibility plan, you're missing out. And because I'm working on this course, getting it ready to present to the world, I am really kind of putting myself into some homework and saying, okay, you need to up your game in social media. Because, like I said, I got burnt out with social media, and I do have somebody who posts things for me. So I have a fairly regular posting habit or system. But now that we're going to be promoting these courses, and actually there's more than one, it's going to start with local visibility blueprint. I'm going to maximize that because I want to touch small business owners across the United States and help them make better marketing choices and better marketing decisions, whether they're doing it themselves or they're hiring somebody to do it for them. And they need a perspective, a framework to ask questions and to manage them by. If your business isn't active, you're losing credibility and customers to competitors who are. So if your competitor is on social media and they have an active, consistently posting social media, and you don't, they're going to be ahead of you in getting business. They're going to be more well-known and get seen more. So this is something to know about. Okay, so social media, think of social media as one of the gears. So if you had a traditional engine, you would need to have a gear that when it moves, it turns the other gear, and they kind of work together. So you think of like an analog clock, or even a transmission in a car. There's gears. They have little sprockets. I don't know, sprockets. They have, I don't know what to call them, but they have pieces that stick up and openings so that the other gear can interlock. And when one moves, the other moves, and it makes something happen in the machinery. That is social media as a part of your marketing campaign. So you've got your website, you've got your Google business profile, you're optimized both of those for how it shows up in search. And search could be Google, Bing, Yahoo, and there's a few other lesser known names. You want to also be doing social media, because now social media is becoming platforms that people actually go to so they can find, like especially like Pinterest. If you're shopping for clothing or a car or a recipe or whatever, you can look in Pinterest, which will lead you to a website where there's more information. And now even more, there's search using generative response, which would be AI. And if you don't have any content out there, you're not going to get anything back. If people are looking for what you do, not knowing who you are, you're not going to bring them back to your site. With AI, with search, with anything, you're going to be like a business in the middle of the desert with no roads to find you. So unless somebody gets a helicopter and flies out to your business in the middle of the desert, nobody's ever going to spend money with you. So, and that's just an analogy. If you see, if your business without, let's say you have a website, but you don't have a Google business profile, or your Google business profile is not verified, or it's not optimized. If you're not search engine optimized on your website, if you don't have a strong social media presence where you're consistently being seen by your ideal audience, nobody's going to know you're there, and your business will fail. So statistically, we've discovered that people need 7 or more touch points. And I'm looking down here because I got my notes. 7 or more touch points before they begin to trust a brand. So that's what your social media does for you. It helps to provide those touch points to build trust, engagement, relationship building through likes, comments, DMs, and there's ways to encourage engagement that we're going to be talking about in the local visibility blueprint that you can implement all by yourself, or you can have somebody do it for you, but you can give them a little bit like knowledgeable direction on what you want done. And of course, I would say if you hire the right person, they're going to have knowledge that you don't have, ideally, but at least you can be on the same page with them, and you can ask questions, make recommendations, and be a part of guiding the marketing for your business, not just handing it off to someone and hoping that they get it right. Lead generation. I have gotten business right from social media where somebody's contacted me. In fact, in this last week, a restaurant in town contacted me and said, I would love to talk to you about getting a website done. Great, let's go. Here's a link to my calendar. Let's get it scheduled. And that's because I post on the regular. And if you will go to my Instagram profile right now, it's actually not as active as it should be, but I've been kind of kicking myself. It's amazing. In the last 3 years, my business has really, really grown, like 5x of what it was prior. And, you know, I have some grand projections for this year. But I know that there are things that I'm not doing that I should be doing. So that's what you're going to see this year. And oh my gosh. And if I can do this well with only what I have done and done right, watch out for when I start incorporating other tactics and strategies into my visibility. It's going to get crazy. Okay. So a big component of social media is social proof and authority. So you can post your reviews and testimonials, the user generated content that comes from the comments. You know, people might ask a question, or they might say, this is fire, I really love it, or oh my gosh, you made me laugh so hard, or whatever. In fact, I have an automation tool that I'm going to be teaching about where, and you've heard other people talk about it, because the tool that I have is not the only one that can do it, but it can do it. Is if you can say, if you want to know more about XYZ, put a comment below that says hashtag, you know, facials or whatever, hashtag toddlers. I have a client right now that she is a travel agent, and she does trip planning for parents with toddlers and teenagers, and you know, with kids. But she has an ebook, I think it is, or maybe it's a checklist, and she's giving it away to families with toddlers. And so if they comment in the comments hashtag toddlers, they automatically get this ebook or checklist, and then a follow-up to have a meeting with her so they can start planning. Give me just a moment here. I've got my office pet, kitty cat, that needs to get out. Okay. So, you know, if somebody responds with the comment that you've asked them to, that starts a really wonderful engagement, and they get your ebook, and then you can interact with them and ask them if they have questions. So it's really brilliant. So a lot of what we're going to be talking about are going to be campaigns that I've run for clients of mine. I'll have some really great case histories of steps that you can take or strategies that you can use for your overall marketing campaign, but do it within social media to get that big result. So the other part that I really want you to focus about, it's not about revealing, you know, private matters about yourself, because I had one client tell me, I'm pretty private and we just don't want to put ourselves out there. But I'm like, no, this is not about, you know, telling us the names of your children. This is about talking about what's on your menu in your coffee bar. That's the kind of information you want to put on there. But a big part of social media is storytelling. So I love to tell the stories about like how I've helped clients, or something, you know, something that I did that didn't go well and what I learned from it. I mean, the mistakes are as much a part of my journey as my successes. So, you know, I did X and this went wrong, and so this is what I learned, and I'm sharing it with you so you don't make the same mistake. So storytelling, I mean, we're going to talk about this more in the course, like what does that even mean? But it's compelling. We're culturally predisposed to want to know what's happening in your life. Like, people used to think it was so crazy posting pictures of their food, but then they're posting, here's the outfit of the day and where I bought it from, and My daughter does it all the time. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't care what you wear, you know. My mental space isn't about what somebody's wearing or the makeup that they're using or whatever. But she's in the beauty industry, permanent cosmetics, and that's relevant to her audience that's following her. Like, oh, that shirt's really cute. Where'd you get it at? You know, oh, how'd you get your hair to go curly? Or how'd you get it so smooth? Or, and that fits with her ideal audience. So she tells that story every single day when she gets on social media. So love it or hate it, let's learn a few important factors about social media in 2025. So do it yourself or done for you. What's the right choice? Let's say if you have time to post and engage. My daughter makes time, so she does really well with that. You're passionate about your brand voice and storytelling. Oh my gosh, my daughter is, I could talk about other clients too, but she tells the funniest stories in social media, and people follow her because of that. And it fits with her audience, like people who are interested in her eyebrows and the tattooed lips and freckles and all that. So it fits her audience, the stories that she tells. You want to keep costs low. You enjoy learning trends, analytics, and strategies. Those are 3 things that you absolutely must pay attention to if you're really going to get the most bang for your buck, which social media is essentially free if you're doing it yourself, but where you get the most for your effort out of social media, you're going to have to be able to pay attention to trends. What are other people doing that is really popular? Not every little skit that's being done, but like, you know, what are the hooks that people are using to get people to jump on the call or to watch the video or whatever? You want to pay attention. What's music is trending? What is the messaging that people are looking for? What are the topics that they're looking for more information on? That can be sometimes discerned by looking at the hashtags. Analytics. What are your numbers? It's not a popularity contest. And I think it was Gary Vee mention that it's not about building likes and followers, because he says sometimes, like, I'll see something in my feed and I will like it without following the person. And he's very aware of training the algorithm to show him more of what he likes. So I have people that like my videos or like my posts, but don't follow me. And that's actually becoming much more common, where people are just interacting and engaging and not necessarily following. Interesting. We didn't talk more about that, not today, but in our class. Done for you social media when it's worth the investment. You're too busy running your business to post content. You're too busy out there being the roofer, the plumber, the HVAC, the, esthetician, the attorney. You're too busy doing whatever it is that you do to pay attention and really work on your social media, pay attention to the analytics, follow the trends, get your story told. So hire somebody to do it for you. Don't just do nothing. You don't have the expertise to analyze insights and optimize your content. You'd rather have professionals create high converting content and management engagement. That's okay if you want to have somebody else do it for you. Okay. Let's see, I'm looking at, so whether you do it yourself or you have somebody do it for you, you want to, Mari Smith on community engagement, like for your social media, this should be your focus. Engage, enlighten, encourage, and especially just be yourself. Social media is a community effort, and everyone is an asset. I love that quote. It's so beautiful. So if you think about, getting watches, people watch your information, they view it hopefully follow you and maybe even integrate with you even closer, like maybe downloading a lead magnet so that you can get their email. But it's about creating a community. So I tell people, not everybody wants your product. Not everybody needs your product. But you can identify who your ideal customer is and then be speaking to them and their problems and helping them understand how you are the best choice for a solution for their problems. And those are the people that are going to, if you're messaging to that ideal customer, like if it was a single person that embodied who your ideal customer was, then more of those people will find you. And you do have to use SEO in your social media as well, but it's in your messaging. And AI is actually, so you really want to appeal to AI. AI is not only reading the words that you put in there, like text over the images, there's other areas where you can put in your keywords, but it's also looking at the photography or the graphics that you have in your image. And AI is now incorporated into social media. It can suggest your profile or feed or a particular reel or story or whatever, if it's relevant to what people are looking for when they go to social media. So you want to make sure you dial that in and get that right. Okay, so I'd love to hear. So with these live streams, what I'm really after, what I really want to know is what your questions are, because I want to be answering these questions either in a future live stream or in a session of my course coming up. So tell me about your business, just briefly, like a one sentence, who you are, what you do, and what's your biggest challenge with either doing it yourself or hiring somebody else to do it for you. What do you want to know? What's your biggest challenge? Like, for example, you might ask a question like, what kind of questions do I need to ask to understand the analytics that come from, let's say, Instagram? When I'm looking at it, what's important to me and what does it mean? Like, okay, it means you have X number of followers, but beyond that, what does it mean as it relates to your marketing campaign? What do you want to know? Or you might have questions about, what's better, just a static post or a carousel? Or you might want to know, and some of those questions I'm not necessarily going to answer. I'm going to answer not strictly from the how-to, but more from the what's the evergreen framework or point of view that you should be looking at this information and making a judgment call as it relates to your marketing. That's what we're going to be tackling inside the class. So even if you outsource, you still need to understand the basics to make sure you're getting the results. Okay, let's get on with this. This is supposed to be a 30-minute call, and it's already longer than that. I'm looking to see where my timer is here. Okay, here's the main thing. The main thing. What do small business owners need to know in 2025 to start or improve social media visibility? Social media is no longer just about posting. So, well, I post every day or I post once a week. It's about strategy. Treat social media just like a search engine, because you want the algorithm in the social media to serve your information up to people who don't know who you are yet, but whose wants and desires align with what you offer. That means you're going to show up more often when, in the For You or in their search when they go to explore. Use search engine optimization, captions, and hashtags so people can discover you. Create content that answers real customer questions, not just promotions. Buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Next. But if you're saying, here's the number one thing I wished I knew before I built my website. Or here's the number one thing I wished I knew in trying to get engagement in social media. You know, you want to provide that value when you go out there in social media, and you don't always want to be selling something. You want to be helping, educating, information. But, and it's coming up where I'm going to be talking about social selling in particular. Short form video is no longer negotiable. It's do it or don't do it. It's going to be always yes. Augment anything else that you're doing with short form. So with Reels, YouTube Shorts, those 1 minute, 3 minute videos are important to your overall strategy. It gets the highest organic reach. You want to post consistently versus trying to create something that's viral. 1 video a week is better than once in a while. Engagement matters more than followers. Remember I said that, because sometimes you can have followers and they never even come back to your profile. They don't watch your stuff. They don't, see your videos or your carousels or your reels or your shorts. So you want, it's more important that, people will click on the heart to like it, or they'll share it, or they'll save it, whether they follow you or not. So all of those metrics are important. You want to leverage AI or artificial intelligence for smarter social media marketing. Yeah. So I use AI a lot. And in my mind, I use it like it's it's an assistant, and I just need somebody to brainstorm with. You can use AI to help you come up with the topics or the questions that your audience is asking, and then you can answer it, and then just have, what I typically do is I will either answer it or I will tell AI what I want to answer and then have it rewrite it so that it sounds polished. It gets the point across maybe better. And then I go in and kind of add my own spin on it so that it's not just AI, it's me. And then I have some context, like if it's one of the top 10 questions that my future clients have about search engine optimization, where AI gets that information is typically from data that comes from Google, Yahoo, or Bing. They can see from that pool of information, this is the topics that people are asking about. AI is going to show that to me, and I can choose which questions and answers I want to use and put my own spin on it. So learn to use and leverage AI for smarter social media marketing. Generate content ideas, schedule posts, and analyze trends. You can even, I have a series of prompts that I have developed, and I use them to take the data download.
Sorry, I don't understand.
I have some help trying to come from Siri. I will go to AI and I will upload Google Analytics and Google Search Console, and I use these prompts to analyze the data, like how many visitors, how many of them were organic or direct, and how has the numbers gone up or gone down over the time that my client has been working with me. And I can produce the most amazing reports asking AI to help me analyze the data, and it does it so much faster, and it sorts it. It's amazing. So I take advantage of it, and I use that to give my customers feedback on what I've been doing for them. Platforms like Meta, Google, TikTok are using AI to personalize feeds. So make sure your content is relevant and valuable so that you get into the algorithm for these platforms' AI to show your resource as an answer for what the people are looking for. Social media should lead somewhere. Link to your website, link to your podcast, link to your blogs. Have a clear call to action. They can sign up for your email. They can go to your website. They can go to your Google business profile. social media should lead somewhere, not just be there. Like, give them a way to connect with you personally, to do business with you. Social media should lead somewhere. One thing, and it doesn't say it in here, I think I did in my original notes, but we are going to talk about this more later. Something that I think is really fascinating, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but it's especially happening on TikTok, and that is social selling. So there's all these live, these content creators that are going live to sell their makeup, to sell their widget. I mean, to sell all kinds of, customized. And I didn't actually buy this online, but this is customized with my logo engraved on it. I bought this locally, but people are selling them right off a TikTok. And let me tell you what Gary Vee has to say about social selling. So if you don't know who Gary Vee is, he just abbreviated his last name. So Gary Vaynerchuk, a prominent entrepreneur and digital marketing expert, has shared his insights on the future of social shopping. He says he draws parallels with social media like TikTok and Instagram, draws parallels between that and traditional shopping networks, stating, I think retail is about to convert into QVC in a very big way. So the home shopping network and QVC, if you're selling anything retail, you could do it with a live shopping channel. And this has gone really big in China and in other countries. It is the future. In his in Gary Vaynerchuk's research and experience, he points out there's tens and hundreds of billions of dollars worth of live shopping happening right now. Just sit with that for a minute. If you sell a product, possibly even a service, you should consider using social media as your live shopping channel. How to do that? I would love to invite you to my local visibility blueprint, and we will talk about that in more detail, but I'm going to create a whole other course on how to do it. Like, who would this be a good fit for, and how would you do it? Whoa, this is going to be a game changer. Gary Vee highlights the importance of authenticity and adaptability. He suggests both polished and raw content. They have their place, and that being genuine resonates more than perfection. So that's one thing. That was the thing I was so excited. Like, I can't wait to talk about this social selling. So even if you're like I would even do, like if you're doing a facial, like if you can get a customer who doesn't mind being on camera, you could talk about what we're doing. Like, let's say you're doing microneedling, and you can talk about the tool and the device, and how the before care, pre-care, and after care, and you could do it all while talking about this facial that you're doing on this woman or man. I guess we both have skin on our face, and that would help your customers to get some insight on who you are, your expertise, and what you're doing, and what you have at your disposal inside of your salon or studio. That could bring you in new clients. You'd be like, sign me up. I want to sign up for that. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful she looks. Like, get her to come back as a before and after. This is what she looks like, 3 days after the facial, and how everything's healed. And look at how much more beautiful her skin looks. You could do it. But let's say, so I have a lady who does my hair. She does the beautiful coloring. And I was asking her, I was like, my hair's kind of fuzzy. And I was wondering, like, how to bring down the cuticle layers of my hair and make it smoother and shinier. And she told me about this rosemary lotion. And I was like, instead of just telling me, go buy this on Amazon, send me an Amazon affiliate link, because then by you just sharing with me your expert knowledge about products, you could make a tiny slice of that income. And maybe it's too tiny. Maybe it's, 50 cents. Well, okay. But if you had, 100 people that you shared that link with, so on social media, you could do that. You might not have 100 clients you could share it with, but if you could do it on social media, and you got on social media and you said, hey, look, I get this question all the time from my clients about, we have fuzzy hair, and if you live in an area where it's very moist in the air, it's kind of wet outside, like I'm in Salem, Oregon right now, and it's raining, and my hair, I come back in, not only is it wet, but by the time it dries, it's kind of fuzzy. Use this oil. So she's educating me, and then she's like, here's a link in my link tree, or here's a link, down below, however she's doing the presentation of information. Give them a link, and if you have 1,000 people that buy that, because you might get in front of 10,000 people, and 1,000 people from that 10,000 buy that lotion to put on their hair. That's $500 if you're making 50 cents a bottle. Okay. That's with you doing one presentation in your social media world. So I am going to be talking with my students in my course and seeing how we can turn their social media channel into not only an educational and an informational resource to grow your audience. So this is people who are interested but not quite ready to buy yet, and then help them get into a space. There's going to be far fewer of them get into a space where they're ready to buy. They're motivated externally, they're emotionally engaged with you, and they're ready to buy. We're going to be talking about that. The point of being visible on social media is to grow your business, not just to be seen. And if you're an introvert like me, that's not important. Like, I don't care if I get seen by the whole world, but I do want to help 10,000 businesses grow their business to a degree where they can provide for their family in an extraordinary way. So that's why I'm here today. Okay, so coming up, and I don't have a date on it yet, but I will here shortly. I'm hoping that in the next 30 to 60 days, the course will be ready to launch and go live. What we're going to be talking about in the local visibility course is not a step-by-step how-to guide for creating, scheduling, or designing social media posts. Instead, it's designed to provide a strategic understanding of how social media fits into a broader marketing campaign. Sometimes understanding the why is so much more than the what. Now, you do need to know the what platform, what tools to make your videos, what should I say, what should I put in, what's the messaging. That's all very important. That's not what you're going to get from me. I can refer you to people who are genius when it comes to that. What I'm going to talk to you about in this local visibility blueprint course is what's the mindset for marketing your business and how it integrates with your website. Some people think I just need social media. I don't need a website. Maybe, but do you know there are thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people who are not yet on social media? Not yet. Maybe they never will be. They don't like it. I have my son who is not, he doesn't own a business of his own. He's a nurse here in town. And he's like, I got rid of TikTok. Like, I don't even want to look at it. It's a time suck. I don't have time for it. It's off my phone. If somebody sends me a TikTok video, I tell them, I'm sorry, I can't watch that. I don't have the app on my phone, and I'm not going to put it on my phone. Okay, fair enough. There are lots of people like that. And he's a young man. He's like 31 years old. So it's not just the old people who aren't doing social media. There is a portion of the population that are never going to go to social media to find something. They're going to go to search engines. Okay. So what I'm telling you is that you can't say all I need is an Instagram profile or all I need is a TikTok profile and that's good enough. Let's talk about how if you connected that with a website and so much more, that you could add another stream of income or level up your existing stream of income by adding that component. Because all of these pieces of the digital marketing engine, if you will. Actually, here's a really good, if you're not sure, there's an organization called Digital Marketer Certified Partner. So this is a place where one of the places where I get training. You can see this, you've got 2 gears. So this would be like your website and social media. And there's going to be, search engine optimization, which is actually on your website, and it's one of the gears that turns the engine. So you want to make sure you're getting, I should say this. If you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of all the channels for your visibility, you could be a local business that wants to just expand your local reach, or you could be a local business that wants more of a statewide or a national or even international reach. It's all going to work in a similar way, and you're just going to scale it. There might be a few different tactics, but you want to make sure that this is a piece of your visibility blueprint that you're paying attention to. And if you're going to say no to social media, know what you're saying no to. And if you're going to say yes to social media, what are you going to do with that yes? How are you going to cause that to help you build your business? We're going to talk about the role of social media in local visibility, how it works right alongside SEO, your Google business profile, customer behavior trends to create a well-rounded marketing approach. I'm going to help you to understand social media as a business tool. It serves as a search engine, an engagement hub. So the part about engagement hub is it's going to tell you how your customers think, so that when you're communicating a marketing message to them, you can speak to what's important to them. You shouldn't have to convince them that they need what you offer, because you should talk about a pain point they already know they have. Next, understand social media. Okay, we talked about that. How to approach social media with a purpose. The core principles of an effective social strategy, ensuring every post serves a goal: awareness, interest, desire, engagement, conversion, or retention. What's the purpose? And you can have more than one, but what's the purpose of this post? And is it the best way to accomplish that purpose, or do we need to post something different? You need to be able to understand that. So this is really going to help you if you're working with the done for you. So somebody who's doing it for you, when you're looking at all the posts that they present, you need to have an understanding like, oh, this post, reel, carousel, short, whatever platform that it's on, is this to create awareness, but it's not really designed to convert, but it can bring people into my circle of contacts so that now they're aware, and then they can see another post and maybe convert. So how does that all come together? How to structure a social media campaign for maximum visibility. There are some tips and tricks to make your work a lot less. We'll talk about that in the course. It's a framework for identifying the right content, right platform, and posting strategy to reach the right ideal client consistently. We're going to talk about audience nurturing for desired transformation. They don't always come to you ready to buy, so you provide information and education, and even maybe make them laugh a little bit to help educate, inspire, and move prospects to the decision-making part of the customer journey. And now they're your customer. Well, and then how do you turn them into brand ambassadors once they're your customer? What this section of the local visibility blueprint will not cover. So if you're looking for this, this won't be a course for you. How to create, design, schedule social media posts. We won't be covering that. I mean, we might touch on it slightly, but that's not the purpose of this section. A detailed tutorial on specific platforms like Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. No. Hashtag research, algorithm hacking, or engagement tricks. We will not be covering that. Okay. Why this approach matters. So why should you want to learn it? Many business owners struggle with what to post and how often because they lack a clear strategy. We're going to be talking about that piece of the puzzle. Then, which hashtags you use, or how often, or what day, or what time of day you post. Once you have a strategy set up, you will more easier find the answers to those other questions. The course will eliminate the guesswork by teaching you how to think strategically about social media. So that whether you are doing it yourself or outsourcing it, your social efforts are aligned with your bigger marketing goal. You'll be able to accomplish your goals of, raising your revenue or reaching a different audience, whatever that happens to be. Social media isn't just about likes and shares. Done right, listen to this, done right, it's a revenue engine. Sit with that for just a moment. If you do your social media right, it's a revenue engine. Now, I can tell you, my daughter, who her and I work together, on her whole digital marketing presence, she predominantly chooses what to post, when to post, how to post. She does all of that herself, but she understands, she has a clear idea of what her marketing goal is. And for the last 5 years, she has been booked out 3 months in advance, and it's been consistently her new business comes from her social media following. Now, people do come to her website, and that's actually something we're going to be working on this year, is putting a lot more into the content creation and the search engine optimization of her website so that all the people who aren't on Instagram and don't yet follow her can find her, because they are being influenced by the culture and by society to want to get their eyebrows tattooed or get their lips tattooed, all of that. They're like, oh, they have a friend that got it done. They're like, oh, I'm going to look for somebody to, do my eyebrows for me. And they're not going to social media because they don't like social media. They don't even get it as a waste of their time, but they'll go to Google. Because you ever notice that you don't go to Google and just scroll? Typically you get in, you get out. You're there to get something, find something, learn something, and then you're out. That's an audience that she hasn't tapped into yet. So we're going to talk about integrating the two together and getting the most out of both gears of her business. So social media done right is a revenue engine, and it's a way to attract, nurture, and convert the highest number of ideal customers into long-term buyers. That's music to my ears. So for me, I've gotten clients just for my social media, search engine optimization clients. And I'm thrilled because the amount of money that it's helped my business to earn. But you want to know what's even more thrilling to me? The stay-at-home dads. I told you that story multiple times, I think, in these live streams. Is this gentleman was able to quit his job and stay at home with their toddler because the wife's business was enough to provide the income. Now, I think, I don't know all the details, but I think that young toddler is now in school, and dad may have gone back to work because he liked the work that he was doing. But they wanted to be able to have one of them at home to take care of their daughter as she was a toddler. When I hear stories about, a client who tells me that it wasn't the only thing, but it was a big part of what he did to ramp up his income so that him and his wife could buy a house. Those are amazing stories. So yes, I want to find as many people as I can to encourage and inspire and answer their questions, educate them on how to grow their business using digital marketing tools, whether they hire me to do it for them or not. They could do it themselves. They could hire somebody else. I could refer wonderful social media professionals that could help you not only plan, but execute your social media to reach your marketing goals. What are your revenue goals for this year? What is the number of customers that you want to have? The problems that you want to solve, to keep people warm and dry with HVAC and a good roof. A lot of times it's because we have to make a living, but it's also because we love to serve the people we serve. That's why I do what I do. And I know many, many business owners who they're passionate about what they do because of the lives it changes, not just because of the money that it earns. That's a great side effect. So I want to reach as many people as I can. And I want you to join me on this journey as we begin talking about local visibility. What is the blueprint? And I want to educate you on how to create this blueprint yourself. Like, okay, here's where I want to get to. How many eyeballs do I need to be in front of? And of those eyeballs, how can I get those people to either be my followers, subscribe to my newsletter, or maybe join a Facebook group or something like that, but somehow come closer into that engagement level? How do I make that happen so that when the time is right, and that might be some external motivation, like if you're a roofer, you might want to, let's say you created some kind of a community around creating and maintaining home value. Like, what are the things that will help you sell your home when you're ready to sell it? And so you can invite a lot of professionals into that conversation. And if you launch that group, you're the owner, the admin of that group. You can handpick people you want to be a part of that and just bring people in to ask questions. Like, I'm buying a house, or I want to sell my house, and I want to know what kind of upgrades that I should do to my house to get the most resale value of my house. So it could be questions like that. I mean, I just have to kind of develop that idea, but like, what a great idea. And that's essentially social media. And basically what you're doing is you're cultivating, you're creating awareness and interest, and even potentially creating desire, so that people will go, oh, well, I know, I'm in this group with this guy who talks about how to build value in your home so you get the most out of it when you sell it. And he's not a realtor, he's a HVAC person. And there's roofers in there, and there's realtors in there, and there's mortgage brokers in there. It's all about maximizing the investment of my real estate property. Whoa, that's a group where it's like a laboratory. They will ask the questions and create user-generated content that you can literally go, oh, and when you're creating your sales page, you can say, do you often feel like this? Do you often ask yourself the question this? And maybe all of that came from your group, which is your laboratory for all these real life people who you're providing wonderful information for. And now you understand how they're communicating, and you can communicate that back to them in your sales presentation. And they're going, yeah, that guy gets me. He knows exactly what I'm thinking right now. I want to work with somebody that resonates with me. That's one way to do it. And these are the things that we're going to be talking about, is that mindset and strategy that underlies the tactics. Should you do a carousel or a reel? Well, first of all, you need to know what your marketing campaign is and what you want to happen. My answer to that, without a lot of, asking my client more questions, is you're probably going to end up doing both, not necessarily on the same day. But you also need to understand, like, who makes up your audience? Are they readers? They just want to read text. Do they want to watch a video? Do they want to listen to something? So those people are going to like podcasts probably. So you want to develop the strategy that underlies your local visibility plan. And it will create a blueprint on the direction to take, either done for yourself or done for you. And in particular, today we're talking about social media, but it could be on your website. It could be on your SEO. It could be on your use of AI. You got to create some fundamental foundational pieces first. Then okay, now I know, here's what I'm trying to do on social media. And I do want to I want to turn it into what did I say? It's a revenue. Where's the word? There's a particular, it is a revenue. Oh my gosh, I wanted to say a particular sentence off of this. Can't find it. Anyways, it becomes a revenue stream. It's not just about posting and feeling vulnerable, putting yourself out for the whole world to see. It's about creating resonance with your ideal audience and then bringing them on board to be your customer. It typically doesn't happen with, especially nowadays, people can get to know you so much through your social media. They're going to do business with somebody they feel like they can trust. And social media can help you do that. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Let me see. Okay. I'd love to hear your key takeaways. Is there anything that stood out to you? Maybe you resonated with the fact that you're an introvert and you don't really like social media. Maybe you're like my daughter and you love social media, but you haven't been very good about coming up with your marketing campaign so that informs what you post, how often you post, when you post, who you're posting to. We're going to talk about all of that in the Local Visibility Blueprint. And I will see you in the next live stream. If you have questions, I want you to put them in the comments below. You can direct message me or you can just put it in the comments below. I want to know what you want to know, because that's why I'm here. It would thrill me to answer a marketing question of yours and have you take it and run with it and build a business that provides for you and your family, and maybe even provides for you so well that you can actually be generous and participate in, donate to charities, donate to nonprofits that are sound and solid. There's an organization here in town that was started by a friend of mine called Roofing It Forward. Just look it up, roofingitforward.org, I think. It might be a .com. Hold on, I will tell you. It is. Come on. Get the computer. roofingitforward.org. They take in nominations and they pick one household to give them a new roof in our community every year. And they would like to get it up to more than one a year. So an example was, and I think they may have already taken care of this woman. She's a single mom. She did own her own home, but their roof was leaking so horribly and it was just getting out of hand. And I don't know enough of the details to really share this whole story, but this was one of the first families that Roofing It Forward helped. And I believe they got some manufacturers, gave donations of the raw materials for the roofing and whatnot. Like I said, I don't have all the details, but that's the kind of woman that she helped, was this woman who owned a home. She had children. She was a single income household, and maybe it wasn't even enough. And she needed a roof so bad to take care of her family. So, there's Boys and Girls Club. We have here in Salem, we have something called Liberty House. There's many wonderful organizations that if you have the ability to serve your community, solve their problems, they'll pay you to do it. Then you take that money and you can pass it on to worthy individuals or worthy organizations. And that makes for a life full of gratitude on so many levels. So I invite you to join me. If you're a small business owner and you have questions, I want to hear about it, because your question might be on the minds of tens or hundreds or thousands of other people. And just you asking the question is going to allow me to create a response or an answer that could help possibly thousands of people. So anyways, I'm going to sign off now. We are going to be back next week with another live stream with Melody Campbell, the small business guru. I am your guide to get more business. Don't forget, when we rank, you on the first page of Google for hundreds of keywords. When we rank